So evidently it's recording. So that's a good thing that we got that done. It's been so long, I acted as if I'm used to using Zoom. We used to use Zoom when we first started doing this, and
Yeah.
our meetings got longer. It went more than 40 minutes, so we only have like a 40-minute
Oh,
time. So we started to use Messenger. So I hadn't used Zoom in a very long time. So that's why I forgot all about updating and all that kind of stuff and trying it out and
oh,
everything. So you were a little bit anxious about the meeting today. We're just doing a regular meeting. That's all we're
oh,
doing, except we're going to make it a little bit better. We're going to do a little bit more to it. So we're going to start right now. And I don't have a name for the podcast yet, but anyway, welcome to the This Had Better Work podcast. My name is Craig, and I'm the owner of Vertice Data Analysis. And this podcast is for people who are wanting to start their own business, who are maybe having, they're already in business for themselves and they want to share their success stories or learn more things, or people who are interested in starting their own business and they have questions and challenges and just different things. The panel that we have right here is made up of people just like yourself, people that are trying to make it work, trying to make their businesses, their services, their products work and become successful businesses that can sustain themselves. And so we started this group on Facebook about over a year ago, right? Yeah, about a
yeah.
year ago. I met Holly, which is our other panel member, who's not here today. Started this Facebook group about a year or so ago, just to kind of connect with other small business owners or aspiring entrepreneurs, to kind of support each other, to kind of share ideas, rant and rave about things that we don't like, and talk about our successes as well. And it has grown to include Angela. Angela came in not too long after we started the group, and right now we just have three members. It's a great core member group. We all have different backgrounds and different things that we bring to the group. And so we wanted to bring that to the broader audience. We wanted to bring it to a bigger audience to kind of share some things that we talk about. Maybe there's people out there, Angela, that want to kind of contribute. When you came into the group, when I first said this is our group, it's not like there's any rules that you have to abide by, that kind of thing. When you came in, what were you expecting, and then what may have been different from when you finally got into it and started interacting with us?
Um, I was definitely hoping for support. I don't know that I had any expectations, but I'm a big believer in mentorship and just putting our minds together and helping us with motivation and maybe just turning things around and seeing it from a different perspective. So I definitely feel like the group has helped me a lot. It just gives me something to look forward to, sort of vent to,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to gain more insight into contemporary issues concerning all business owners.
Well, I will say this, and we'll get into our individual businesses. We'll talk about that just very briefly. My business, deals with data, and then Holly, again, our other panel member, she is a bookkeeper. She has her own bookkeeping service, and she works as a bookkeeper for her full-time job. So we're very numbers based. But when Angela came in, she comes from an artistic background, an artistic, bent, and she has opened my mind up. And I think Holly will say the same thing if she were here. She has opened my mind up to different ways of thinking about things. The reason why we have this podcast right now is because of what Angela said in our last meeting. We meet every 2 weeks. And about 2 weeks ago, Angela, we were talking about something, and Angela had mentioned that she thought I would be good at starting my own podcast. And from there, it kind of grew into, hey, why don't we just make our group meetings into a podcast and share it with other people? I had thought about having a podcast on my own, but I never thought about like what I would talk about. It was just an idea, because that seems to be the prevalent thing now. Everybody has a podcast for everything. So I had thought about maybe having a podcast, but again, I didn't know what I would talk about. But then when you mentioned it, Angela, about 2 weeks ago, hey Craig, I think you'd be good at having a podcast. I said, well, dang, we talk, we talk in these meetings, and we could just continue that into a more structured thing. And that thought would have never had come into my mind had it not been for you, Angela. From the other side, from the artistic side of it, and dealing with numbers people, how has it been for you dealing with us? Has it been confusing? Has it been like, I never thought of it like that. And this is our pod, just like these are our meetings. This is our podcast as well. So
Mhm.
just tell us what you think from your side, being from an artistic side of things.
Well, it definitely helps me funnel my energy in a more practical, because I can be pretty scattered and I can be a big dreamer, but I don't always have the tools to put my dreams into motion. I think just hearing Holly talk about bookkeeping and hearing your ideas, which definitely seem to be, I think they're more practical, but that's good in a good way.
Mhm.
It and the issues that we discuss has me thinking about managing my art career more like a business, which I think in the long run will help it grow and be more successful.
So since you mentioned business, go ahead and, if you don't mind, Angela, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, your name, where you're located in the country, your business, your idea that you have and that you're trying to put out into the world.
I'm a Chicago-based artist. My name is Angela. My project right now is reimagining folklore, mythological themes, and dealing with symbols from a contemporary female perspective. I've really been experimenting with creating my work as art prints,
Hmm.
just because I'm looking more at quantity, in order to profit versus selling the one original piece. And I think also that that spreads my work to a wider audience. It makes it more accessible,
Hmm.
more affordable. And it has me thinking not so much about the content of the work, what the messages I'm trying to convey, but also just from a practical standpoint, like how does this work interact with the environment in which it's hung? So, seeing the mock-ups of it in frames is, in a way, really satisfying, but it's not the way I've previously thought about my work.
I want you to write that down because at some point I think that would be a good podcast too. Because as you're talking, it's like saying, I had this idea of what I wanted my business to be. You know, I
Mm.
had this idea of what my life would look like for my business. But as time goes on, that has shifted, you know, to this. And we're not going to talk about that today because that's for another podcast. But I think a lot of people, even myself, I think this is what prompted this last week or the 2 weeks ago. I had the vision of what I wanted, but life has said, this is more what is needed. You know, you may have wanted this, but this is actually what is more practical. Like you said, this makes more sense to do it this way. And so I want us to delve into, do we like the new thing, you know, or has it just become work? You know, has it just become something that's foreign to us, but we have to do it because that will pay the bills, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? But again, we'll talk about that. And we're gonna put your link to your artwork and everything in the description below of this video. And also, I think we should set up like a Facebook page that we can just put out on, our different schedule of the things we want to talk about, and our past shows and things like that. Create a YouTube channel so that this video will be posted on, so it'll be as exclusive for just us. And so we'll post your information down there. We'll post the link to Black Wolf Virtual Bookkeeping and a link
Mhm.
to my business as well, Vertice Data Analysis. We also want to get feedback from people. That's really going to help us. So again, I want to say this up front: we're not professional podcasters. We're just regular people who came together and we wanted to start a podcast. But I think that we have some very helpful, useful information that other people would benefit from. And also, if you're interested in joining one of our discussions, like a live recording of this, we would love to speak with you about an upcoming topic and have you join in with us so that we can get some even more perspective from people, just instead of just the three of us here. Very briefly for myself, my name is, again, Craig. I'm from Texas. I'm currently in Arkansas. I own a company called Vertice Data Analysis. And my company primarily deals with minority small businesses, helping them to make more informed decisions for their business as far as marketing, sales, promotions, and things through the use of data. Again, my link will be in the description. We're kind of cut for time, so I won't go into too much more description about that. But I would love to speak with you if you have a small business and you want to at least find out what Vertice can do for you, what I can do for your business. Please reach out to me. And maybe even through these podcasts, we can even learn more about what data analysis is in art and bookkeeping as well. So let's just jump right into it because I know we have very little time. The topic this week, though, Angela, was artificial intelligence. Now, we have talked about this before in some of
Mhm.
our other meetings, but I thought it would be a good one to have for our first recorded podcast because it's becoming more and more of a thing. Like they are building AI into everything. Like even your regular programs like Word and Excel,
Mhm.
everything, even when I was signing in today for Zoom, there was a thing that popped up that said something about artificial intelligence. Like artificial intelligence can look at your videos or something and analyze it or something. So it's in everything. The reason why I thought about this was because I had watched a video. Did you get a chance to watch the video?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
so the video was about a company, a restaurant, a fast food restaurant in California that is supposedly the first fast food restaurant or restaurant in the world to be completely robotic, autonomous. Like there's no one there except there's one person there to season the fries or something. I don't know what
Right.
that
Yeah.
person does, but I guess they just showed this lady shaking some salt on some fries. So I guess
Quality
she did.
control.
Yeah, quality control. I'm glad you brought that up. Please remind me about that quality control because that was one of my concerns. Okay.
Mhm.
But anyway, this was the first restaurant of its kind that will be completely robotic. Like everything will be, you go into a kiosk, I guess, and you order your food, and the machines just go and make the food. And there's a person at the end who seasons the food, and then you get your food. When you saw the video, what did you think? Like, what was your first thought, good or bad?
I have concerns. I mean, because having worked in the food industry myself and knowing how equipment can be, I just imagine the AI malfunctioning or something, and then the whole restaurant comes to a standstill. But worse, what happens if AI malfunctions and the burgers aren't cooked to proper temperature, or and that creates a huge headache for the few employees that are there, assuming they don't know how to fix or I don't know. But I think it's kind of sad because I mean there is something for me about the human hand, preparing food and the energy that goes into it. I mean, I realize that fast food workers probably, it's not that they're exactly making things with love. So, but yeah, I just think it's sad. But maybe these jobs are, maybe this will pave the way for people to learn more advanced skills to receive, a better income.
They keep talking about, now I don't know about in this video, but they keep talking about, yes, it's going to replace jobs, but it's going to be
Mhm.
so much better for people because they're going to be more advanced skilled people and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, but do you need that many advanced skilled people, in
Right.
the future? You know what I'm saying? Like, and exactly what are they never say what these people are doing. They just say they're gonna have more advanced skills. It's like, well, to do what? Like what are they doing? Like how are they getting these skills and what are they using these skills for? I thought it was inevitable. Like it didn't surprise me because I would have thought that there are already restaurants like that doing this. From your perspective though, with the people touching the food, I thought about this.
Hmm.
When you go to McDonald's, right?
Hmm.
You just go to the cash register person, the cashier,
Right.
and they well, if you do that part, they take your order. You don't really see the people in the back making the food, right?
That's true. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
hear people talking and laughing and moving around, but you don't really see them doing the food preparation. So I thought like, yeah, the people part is important, and I actually thought, like I said, I actually thought about this. The people
Mhm.
part is important, but do I really care? You know what I'm saying? Do I really care who or what is fixing the food? Because I don't even care who fixes the food now. I do agree that you're replacing people, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't matter to me how
Mhm.
I get the food. Like, when I call Pizza Hut or order online for Pizza Hut, I never talk to a person. I just
Right.
order it online. I don't know who or what is fixing the pizza. There's a disconnect anyway.
Another concern I would have is my friend's grandmother once said it takes all kinds to make this world go round. What she meant by that is, there should be a place for everyone in our society. There are people for whatever reasons, maybe they're neurodiverse or they have some developmental delays,
Hmm. Hmm.
who want to be able to work, and it provides them with a certain sense of dignity. And what happens if there are no longer any low skill jobs, for people to kind of enter into the workforce? It's sort of an initiation when you're a teenager,
Hmm.
like, let me dip my toe in the water and see what it's like to have a job, learn these responsibilities. And no, the jobs aren't fun, or they're dull or whatever. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I think it was Elon Musk who said that in the future, with AI replacing a lot of jobs, that the ability to find a job is going to be next to impossible. And so therefore it's inevitable that we all move to universal income. It sounds like this is where we're moving to. So I guess society will just shift or will just evolve with it.
To your point about young people coming to the workforce, I actually have a niece right now. She'll be 17 in two
Mm-hmm.
months, and she's looking for her first job. And I was talking to my brother the other day. He was like, "Yeah, she hasn't been able to find a job yet."
Mm-hmm.
And I see, like you said, I see that happening. I see not only for young people, but even for older people who are retired or
Yeah.
may need a little extra income. They want to get out of the house and do something. A person having a second job. These used to be the fill-in kind of things. Back to this restaurant thing, though. My other concern was, will the AI and the robots be able to tell when there is defects, like in the food? Like
Mm-hmm.
suppose, because you always hear about salmonella, you hear about,
Right.
finding objects in, food and stuff like that. Will the AI be able to tell, oh, there's a plastic piece in with the fries, or will it
Mm-hmm.
just cook it and go on? Like, I'm sure they'll get to the point where they'll be able to detect all that kind of thing. But with a human, you can say, oh, there's something in there. Let me
Yeah.
put this bag to the side because that's not a good batch. Or these fries or melted or not frozen, they're soggy. We shouldn't use those. Will they be able to tell those things? These are things that will affect you and are affecting your industry right now as an artist, and
Mm-hmm.
affecting me and affecting Holly as well. Talk a little bit about how you feel artificial intelligence is affecting the art world. Maybe not you specifically, but the world of art, illustrators, things like that.
Well, if AI can generate exactly what a client is looking for instance, in graphic design, illustration, I mean, you know, they don't have to then interact with another human being, compromise, to create the final version of the project. I'm not sure. I mean, I've seen the AI generated images, and I think, they're almost too, yeah, like clean, or,
They
there's,
do have a look. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, the humanity, I think, in great works of art. One thing I had learned in school was a great work of art is always flawed in some way or another. And we're somehow drawn to those flaws because those flaws are evidence of our humanity. And basically that's it's kind of what we need, is to know we're all in this together. None of us are perfect. We all experience joy and suffering. I don't know. I don't really want to. I don't have any interest in seeing an AI's version of, or interpretation of life, because they haven't had. I mean, maybe they'll evolve to having lived experiences and memories, which is strange. And it used to be that if someone had, oh, I really want to see a lion and a tiger and, I don't know, a jet airplane, what, I don't know,
Hmm.
some, amalgamation of different
Hmm.
ideas. The artist was able to then interpret, they needed the artist as sort of an intermediary to interpret that, to create that. Now the AI can just generate an image. So yeah, so I don't know, but I'm against it as an artist.
Well, as you were saying about the flawed part of it, I feel like generations accept things. Like we're, older generation, not older, but we've been around on the planet for a while and we're used to certain things. The new generation is coming up, and many of them, in fact, my grandnephew, he is living in the time of AI. It wasn't like AI came into existence after he was born. He is born in AI. So the things that he sees on television will be primarily AI generated, you know, and that's all he will know. I think about superhero movies and movies. It used to be where there used to be a stunt person that did your stunts. If a person got hit by a car, there was a person that actually got hit by a car. Maybe not
Yeah.
hard, but it was a stunt person. Now it's CGI, and so teenagers and young people, all they've ever known is CGI. They've never known a person like Bruce Willis falling out of a building. It's always been this thing, this character. I don't know what it is, but it's not a real person. But your
Yeah.
mind doesn't know that. It's just a movie. It's just you accept it. And so I
Mhm.
feel like that's what's going to happen with AI. I know what's going to happen with AI. It's just like, yeah, the picture is too perfect, but I've always known perfect pictures. I've never seen a picture that's not perfect. I've never heard a song that wasn't perfect. For me, I've never had to go back and forth with a person and talk about data analysis and what are you looking for specifically. I just put in and it just spits this stuff out to me, and hopefully it's correct. Hopefully it's right. It's like that's all they ever known. So it will get to that point, and I think the thing for us though, as small business owners, is to figure out how to navigate in that new world, because there will be spaces for us. There will be plenty of opportunities for us. We just need to start thinking about what the world might look like in an AI situation, and how do I either use it or how do I work alongside it to become successful? Because
Mhm.
if you don't, there's a lot of fast food restaurant people that want to start fast food restaurants, and they're like, well, you don't hire people. We just set this machine up and it does stuff. You want to hire people? Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you? That's a cost that you don't need. And I also bring that up because in that video of the restaurant in California, they were asking the company owner of the robotics company, will it take away jobs? And he was truthful in a sense. He said, no, it won't take away jobs. He was truthful because the owner of the restaurant said, we could not find people to work here. We were having a
Right.
hard time. So in that situation, yes, we're not taking jobs away from people because we weren't even hiring these people to begin with. No one was working here, and we had no choice but to go to this option. So yeah, we're not taking jobs away from people, but at the same time, we're not helping people either. So it's going to be an interesting world. It's going to be really interesting. And to me, there's no real answer because all this stuff is just new.
Yeah, he did say, but what's suspicious is they had mentioned that California was raising its wages for fast food
Yeah.
workers
Mm-hmm.
$dollars an hour, and they admitted, they're like, well, we're not going to pay that
Yeah.
without passing that, inflation on to the consumer.
Consumer. Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, maybe they're having a shortage of workers, but maybe also if you improved, gave those workers more benefits, offered a livable wage, you would recruit more. I think there's a little bit of something shady going on there. Because yeah, so what use is raising the minimum wage if someone is just going to find a way to eliminate those workers so they don't
Yeah.
have to pay that wage?
You said something shady going on. We're down to our last 2 minutes left, so I wanted to kind of to wrap this up. So, but anyway, for the people who are out there watching this right now, Holly and I are used to going on for an hour, about an hour and a half sometimes. For some, not Holly, Angela, Holly, and myself, usually going on for like an hour and a half with our discussions. We had to kind of compress it down this time. This is a kind of an example of what we get into, the kind of discussions, and we would love to get some feedback from you as well to find out what was your thought on the video. We'll post a link to the video below in the description along with everything else. But if you get a chance to watch the video, comment to us and let us know what your thoughts are. Like what, from a small business perspective or even a societal perspective, just how do you think small businesses will be able to survive the impacts AI will have on small businesses and businesses in general, and what the world will look like, 5 years from now, because this stuff is going quick. I mean, it's going fast. So 5 years from now, this restaurant will be 5 years old. No one will think anything about it. They just go get their burger, go home. It won't be a novelty or anything like that. But what would the world look like? Also, comment on this video as well. Tell us, give us some feedback, some constructive, nice critiques of our performance today to help us to improve, and give us a like and a thumbs up and all those things that they always say in YouTube videos that I'm now trying to remember that they always say in YouTube videos. Give us a like and a thumbs up, and subscribe also. We would love to have you come back and again, spread this around to all your friends. And even if you're not a small business owner or an entrepreneur, but you enjoy what you're hearing today, this discussion, make sure that you subscribe so you know when we are posting new videos. Angela, anything you want to say in the last 30 seconds?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you in the next one.